Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by 10th Man, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, but it looks like I'm having live stream issues, so hopefully we can get this conversation going and I can check that the live stream is actually going out, as it looks like it's got a few stream issues. Welcome, one and all.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Hello.
Hello. If you're in the live stream chat right this second, if you can just tell me if you're actually getting a stream, because my preview stream says it's not. It shows that I'm live, just says waiting for Nathan Oakley. Weird. Okay, well, there we go. Let's just refresh that page and see if it works. First time I've had a stream issue in about 500 shows. I'll go and check on the iPad. No, it works. Brilliant, we're all clear. Everything's working. Happy days. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
No, if there was, we wouldn't have this show. No such thing. And you need R for that. They don't have that either.
Hey, John.
That's correct, Tent.
Hey, how you doing?
Very well. We're working. Everything's streaming and functioning. I'm happy. Everyone's good. Yeah, fine, Nathan, says Michael Kahn. Brilliant. Thank you very much for letting me know. Not often.
No, hang on. Not everyone's good. All the Globers are upset that we don't have a geometric horizon.
What, to do corrections when they assume tangency? Any evidence you can acquire an elevation angle from a curved baseline?
Go, John. Tell us about your kitchen.
Well, if you measure the angle from the floor, you can. Sorry, my wife's got me giggling. You can calculate it as a sphere if you take and assume the arc of the protractor is actually the shape of the ground you're standing on.
And if we were standing on the ground that was in the shape of an arc of a protractor, we would see Earth curvature, would we not?
Where's Nathan?
No, we wouldn't be able to use a protractor.
Hey, Alwyn.
Hello.
Hello.
You're drunk.
Where's the intro?
Where's the intro? Once I start the intro, I glance out the corner of my eye at my preview screen.
Where it is right now. Where it is.
Hey, Andy.
What is
I didn't
happening
see
with
an
it
intro on YouTube
right now?
But YouTube's been acting weird, though.
Hold on. Andy. Are you
How
hot?
is examined in academia and how important it is amongst people who matter.
He hot micing or talking to us?
Yeah, who you talking to? What?
Hey, Andy.
I think he might be hot micing, but this is what he said he wants to come on and talk to you about. Are you there, Artie? Can you hear us?
Oh, he's checking his fence. He's checking with his helper in the background that he's all ready to go. Absolutely brilliant. Hey, Andy. Shit, press buttons. He's dropped.
He's checking with his teleprompter guy.
Hold on, I've got to move him.
Well,
from
no,
live.
he said he was checking his mic or something like that. I don't know what was going on.
Oh, I'm trying to move him and someone else is trying to move him. Just let me move him into the live stream. Hold on one second.
Didn't sound like a mic test.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Andy.
Artie.
Ardy. My bad. It's a 4K screen. It's teeny tiny. I'm always getting mispronunciations. Hello. Good to have you. It's good to be here. Oh, well, that's good to know, Ardy.
Complete bullshit.
What? They just welcomed you.
So what can we do for you?
I think I'm going to just jump out because this is not fun and it's not constructive.
You having,
What?
you having tech issues? Have you got technical issues, Ardy?
Who is talking to me?
I am.
Yeah, Artie, you there?
He's having technical issues because I think he's talking to a third party that we're not privy to. There's possibly someone in the background now going, they can hear it.
I've got to jump out of this, guys. I'd love to have a good discussion with you about what's going on, but I think
What's
the
going
network
on?
issue is killing us.
Have you tried
So
turning
we
it
have
off
to
and on
say
again?
Not until another time. Thank you.
Okay, he's got technical issues by the looks of things. It's going to be one of those days.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Thank you, Arwin. We heard the first time.
I guess we just missed out on the Artie conversation.
I don't know. It's been like this since I started recording today. I don't know why. There's been a funny vibe today. So, audience, if you're picking up on that funny vibe, you're not alone. I don't really understand what's going on today. Anyway, let's move on with housekeeping.
I had
The
massive
hippos
issues
are
with my-
hungry.
Just saying, I had massive issues with YouTube on my show today too. So it's acting out.
No,
weird.
I don't think we've got any YouTube issues. I think that was just a coincidence. I refreshed my stream screen page. It's a bit of a tongue twister. And it was all fine. So I don't think I've got any YouTube issues. In fact, quite the contrary. I've managed to link up my Uncut and After show to the live show in the same recording, which is brilliant at the moment because often that doesn't happen. But 3 days in a row it has now. So I'm actually delighted with the performance of YouTube. Thumbs up, YouTube, and OBS. You're great, up by me. But the vibe in the room, I'm talking about us.
What
I say
about
something?
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, what's shaking?
They're getting
Talking
ready
about a vibe in the
to.
room?
They're getting ready to shut everything down. That's why you're having problems.
What problem?
Oh, here we go.
It's nobody listened to me. There are no problems. Despite my...
Yes, there is. We had problems yesterday.
You're the problem,
There's always
Neil.
problems on Discord. They're getting ready to shut everything down. Just be ready.
I love a good
That's
show
not
about
what Nathan's
YouTube technical
talking about.
issues. I mean, when this gets re-upped and people come and watch and it's not live, they'll listen to this for 5 straight minutes and then tune out. So let's move on with housekeeping. Hopefully we can pick up the tempo. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
No, you need R for that.
Any evidence of the R value? R value, Earth radius.
The geometric horizon is right there, underneath the apparent one.
Excuse me, how did they get an R value that they keep saying they have? What would they have to do to get it, John?
They would have to measure an angle on a flat plane, on a flat Earth, not just a flat plane, flat Earth.
And Zanuck agreed with that?
Who cares? Sorry, what? Sorry, is that Zanuck the arbiter of these things these days?
No, I'm just saying that they come in here saying we don't know what we're talking about. You asked a great question there. I posed it to John in the secondary question. John answered it correctly. And then the people who come here and say we don't know what we're talking about agree with John's definition. So they're the crazy ones.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
I would just like to say that it's not agree, disagree on that point.
No, it is not.
Per definitions.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, prove I have to use a flat plane when I'm using a flat plane. It's like it's intrinsic, it's inherent, it's necessary, it's required. It's not like it needs proving as a claim. It's part of the method. If you're measuring 2 straight lines, you're measuring 2 straight... That's what you're doing. One of them ain't curved. So what do we end up with? Anti-flat earthers telling us, it's easy to get a flat plane, don't mean Earth's flat. Like, why are you getting a flat plane when you think you're on a sphere? Do you not realise what you're telling us? You're telling us the flat plane I'm using ain't the flat Earth that I'm measuring. It's like, well, you're nuts. You're all bonkers at the moment. It's hysterical.
Here's what they're doing after listening to that show. Yeah, I need to use your flat plane so I could get my sphere. What's wrong with that?
Give us a lend on your flat plane for a bit. Let's just forget about it after. And then you can justify how the flat plane angles that I got from the flat plane Can't work on a bloody flat plane. That's what they're telling us at the moment. It's nuts. It's absolutely insane.
The best is when Zanuck says, no, the sphere comes later.
Yeah, after the flat plane bit, you know, we're going to be measuring the flat Earth, and it's going to be to baselines with GPs on the baselines. That's the ground. After we've done all that, I'm going to use those angles we got from a flat plane to ask you how they work on a flat plane, because obviously they can't. Duh. Yeah, it's insane.
They paint a globe in there afterward for imagination support.
Yeah, and then they take the angle to a celestial plane in the middle of it. Not that you can stand in the middle of a sphere Earth, and even if you could, you'd be standing on a flat plane there, according to them, because you need a flat plane. Don't matter if they teeter-totter it on the top of a sphere or stick it in the middle of a rock. At some point, you're going to be using a flat plane. You can't get an angle any other way. So they justify how easy it is to get a flat plane from a shape that's inherently supposed to be justified as being curved and intrinsically has no flat planes at all ever. But you want to tell us how easy it is to get one of those flat planes and borrow them from us to get angle measurements on the surface from? Yeah, that just means you're measuring angles on the surface from a flat plane. That's all it means. Earth is flat.
Yeah, how do you even use a sextant when you're in the middle of a ball Earth?
You don't. You use it on the surface, and that surface you're measuring would be flat. Can't not be. That's John's point, right, John?
Yes, it's not an agree, disagree discussion. It's like if you hold up a rock and say it's a rock, you don't agree, disagree to that. It's just what it is.
Yeah. And an angle measurement from a flat baseline is just that. It's an angle measurement from a flat baseline. That's what you're doing if you're measuring an elevation angle. Not, well, I don't think you're measuring it off the surface. No, you're measuring an angle off the surface. It's called your baseline. That's what you're getting your GP along. It's the surface that you're navigating. It's just navigated flat, measured flat, utilised flat, obviously and observably flat. But what's that you say? The baseline that we're measuring, navigating, using, and is obviously flat, isn't the surface. Yeah, open parentheses, globe surface. No, it isn't your open brackets globe surface now, is it? It's the flat Earth we actually walk and dwell atop.
Do you remember that navigation article that magazine had, and I put it up, where the guy shows a triangle, and he says, this is a little different triangle. It's got a bulgy bottom.
Yeah, it was absolutely filthy. Those dirty magazines. I love them. I'll give them you back next week. That went over everybody's head, didn't it? I love it.
I got it.
Did not, but it's disgusting.
It is. 10th has got a filthy, disgusting habit. But we won't talk about that live.
To show a triangle with a bulgy bottom after drawing an actual triangle over a curved part of their curved world that doesn't exist, and then saying, yeah, this is how it works with this triangle, but the one we use has a bulgy bottom. Right there, you should say, mate, what kind of triangle has a bulgy bottom?
Why do you keep saying that? You're giving him ammunition.
No, he did reference it that time to Earth intentionally. He's not stupid.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
No, he definitely tied it to something I couldn't pun over. Any scientific evidence of gravity? Oh, as Simon Dan's on the screen, the evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety. Whose reference frames did I ruin?
What's gravity?
No, axial rotation, just because Simon Dan's on there with his ruined reference frames.
Because I notice in chat when you replay your shows, a lot of people are in the chat talking about gravity.
Nobody ever claimed there would be Coriolis deviation.
You say there's no issue with YouTube. It says there's only 30 people watching. Either I've been, in the last 24 hours, completely cobbled. Is that what you call it? Like in Misery, when she puts the block between his feet? Is it cobbling? Either
I'm afraid I'm going to have to hobble you.
Hobble, that's the one. Either I've been hobbled, or there's actually 29 people watching, and everyone in the last 24 hours has decided, screw Nathan Oakley, we ain't watching no more. What was that? He had 200 people watching the other day. We ain't coming back.
hang on. Paula just posted. Most of the U.S. cannot see the show right now. I've tried several browsers, refreshed, etc. So we're having problems.
Oh, really?
I just got a glimpse. There's 80 watching, but every time I try to refresh, suddenly it says offline. I don't know why.
So there are
getting
YouTube
ready
issues.
to do it.
Okay. Well, it says there's 28 people watching on my preview. You're getting 80. Paula can't watch at all. Wonderful. I wondered why Paula was in the Discord server. It's because none of them got a ram jammer ding dong Discord server because they're all listening because they can't tune in the States. Maybe we've been banned in the States. It's censorship, lads. It's censorship. Come on, conspiratards. Back me up.
Nathan, I mean, Neil just did. He said they're ready to shut us down.
Exactly.
They're shutting us down, man.
What's going to happen?
Don't be silly.
All right. Laugh about it, but you better have an alternate route because I'm not going out to flat earth debate.
After
Like, they're a little
yesterday's
late.
embarrassment.
Yeah, I just checked it. It's live right now. I'm watching it now.
You're in the States, right?
83
Truth Seeker?
watching.
I mean, to be fair, Paula does use Linux. So there's always that.
Causing problems though. There's runtime environments that bridge the gaps.
What? Does anybody speak dweeb?
So when you use Linux, all right, and you want to use something that's running off of a Windows, there's a program. It's like an environment that will buffer everything so that you can watch what you want that's streaming from Windows on your Linux.
Listen to this guy. He's building his own computer.
I was going to say,
a lot.
thank you very much, Linus Tech Tips.
You're welcome.
So, any scientific evidence of gravity? Dizzying heights of 34 people watching, according to my numbers.
I mean that invisible force, not force, bending of space-time effect, whatever they want to keep calling it because they don't have it to begin with, that thing?
Well, when the high priest drops his mic and says, this is gravity, and then another time he says, I don't know, next question. What do you go with that?
I mean,
I call that slippery fingers.
PhD Clown Thunderfoot said gas go down, go boom boom like solid bonded bouncy balls. That's science, right? It's PhD Thunderfoot.
Another meatball. Well, I knew they were going to take the... Go ahead.
He didn't finish his statement when he said that solids go down or gases go down on a sphere in a heliocentric belief structure. That's what he should have finished it with. But
I see. In his reified sphere model that is in no way reality or doesn't comport with any natural law, the gas goes down like solid bonded bouncy balls. You have like pools of gas and stuff in his model, in his fantasy world. Right, he should have just disclaimed that he isn't talking about reality when he says gas go down, go boom boom like bouncy balls. It doesn't. But it does in his model.
That's it. See, if he should have added that part, and it would have made a lot more sense.
Well, it wouldn't make any sense, but it just means that's what happens in the sphere model. It doesn't mean it makes sense, let's be honest. I mean, I'm being pedantic. Let's get on with it. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics? Says there's 36 people watching. I can count more than that in chat.
No
Is that
evidence.
the answer to that question? 36 people watching.
I'm just watching the chat whiz on by at a hell of a rate with loads of people in there. Like, it's not like it's a quiet day in the chat. It isn't. But, yeah, it's saying, hey, you've got 40 people watching. I'm like, normally about this point, I'd be going, come on, get to 100 so I can shout them out and thank them for sharing. 41 now. Way, 41 people. Yeah, it's definitely
I'm still waiting for Dr. Becky's response, and Neil is waiting for Neil deGrasse Tyson's response to that question. But no, the answer is no. No valid hypothesis, just observations.
Anthony's Sleeping Warrior says there's 4 people watching at my end. And then immediately afterwards, Steve says 105 people watching at my end. Oh, there's definitely a problem. Okay, I'm going to take it all back. Yeah, there's definitely an issue today. 105 people watching according to Steve. So thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. There's only 105 people watching according to Steve because you all share the show.
All right, I guess I'm going to go with the flow. There's 126 people who say there's no hypothesis for that question.
I don't know where you're getting your numbers from.
I'm making them up like everybody else. I'm trying to answer housekeeping questions. And all I hear
How dare you accuse Steve of making up those numbers? I'll have you know, as those were the best numbers I had on offer, that those are definitely accurate.
No, actually, it just ticked up more. 254 at the moment.
No, I know you're just making those up, though.
Numbers.
I can tell by your tone.
Numbers.
You're not a good liar. You're not trained that way, 10th.
Give me your money. I got the best numbers. Come on.
The best numbers ever. The greatest numbers, man. Good morning, guys.
Right. Any evidence
Good morning, chocolate.
Self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Well, there's 124 people now who say no.
You know who can prove that? The same person that went to their equatorial plane to take their elevation angles.
The journey to the centre of the sphere Earth. No, nobody's done that.
Yeah, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Check out the core, see how nice it is, how it's layered, and then take the elevation angles from their equatorial plane in the middle of a rock. Nothing to see here.
I heard there was a dead end about 8 miles down, though. There was a rerouting of the course.
You're talking about kind of...
Bro, well, just imagine the rest of the thousands of miles. Don't worry about it. We got the best numbers.
Yeah, we've only gone down about 12 kilometres. That's about as far as we got before the drill bits stopped working, and yeah, they couldn't go any further. Then they sealed it off with a little plate, about, I don't know, 8, maybe 10 inches in diameter. And that's it. It's got a bit of graffiti on it, and now it's just called the Hole to Hell because it's 12k down.
We have an update from Paula. It just started running for me for no apparent reason.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I've lost my track of housekeeping. Anybody been keeping up with which ones we've covered?
Yeah.
Molten iron.
No, we just had that.
You didn't do
Gas pressure?
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
336 people say no.
That's a negative, but now the people are saying that things are different up there. God could do anything. So, they're trying to get around the fact by saying natural law is man-made.
No.
God does it.
Let's get this straight. Because they want scientism to creep into the Bible, they have to say those things. Okay, a violation of natural law, God can do, and that's our falling under the category of miracles, walking on water, raising the dead, as Jesus did. But when you say the way he made this place for us to live, we have natural laws, unless a miracle does happen, but then God does it. So when they want to say, yeah, but what's the difference if the earth is flat or a sphere? And then you tell them, well, this Word of God says this, and here's what we observe, and here's what we experience. And they're lying to us. And it says, well, couldn't God make it that way? Well, yeah, God could have, but did he? No. It's a poor excuse.
Looks like
It's funny because that's what my son comes back with all the time. And I say, yes, son, but that's not how the Bible says he did it.
Hold on. If it doesn't matter if it's flat or a sphere to them, why don't they just accept the fact that it's measured flat?
They do. They tell us.
Because it's the religion.
No, they don't. Don't say they do, because they don't. They tell us you don't have to have a flat plane to measure a flat plane. That's the kind of level of cognitive dissonance they've sunk to. So it's a pertinent question that John's asking. I don't mean to be rude when you hand wave it away, John. 10th. Do you want to ask the question again? Everyone listen up in Discord.
If it doesn't matter if it's flat or a sphere, right? If it doesn't change anything, then why not just accept the measurement?
They can't.
Because they're not all of that same ilk, if I could use that word.
It's a religion. Sphere religion. They
Yeah,
want
just-
sphere.
Was it religion, peer pressure, social pressure?
That's crap. I lost my thought. Damn it.
Have you tried turning it off and on again? Are you trying?
Thanks. That might have...
That was good.
That's a good one.
That was good.
Okay, because there's a few people that have only just joined, we're going to do quick fire housekeeping. Let's go. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon formerly known as the curve of the Earth? Not that quick, Neil, not that quick. Let's just try it again. Still needs to be audibly nice. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
If there was, then at 1 foot observation height, you would have a geometric horizon at 1.22 miles away. We don't have that. We don't see that. So therefore, that's debunked.
So no geometric horizon for measurements of straight lines and angles and such. Okay. Any evidence you can acquire an elevation angle from a curved baseline?
This is impossible.
It's a geometric misnomer. It's a nonsensical statement. Correct. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Well, if it was of the Earth-based variety, we would have Earth-based Coriolis as evidence for the axial rotation. And since we do not have Earth-based Coriolis, no, that's not happening either.
And to just add a little bit more cream to that cake, if the Earth was turning underneath stuff to cause Coriolis deflection as claimed on a globe Earth, then a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina would only take an hour and a half rather than 4.5, maybe 5 hours, as it actually does, because to see Coriolis effect, you'd be turning underneath the aeroplane. Therefore, Earth would be turning under the aeroplane, shortening its flight time, and it does not. Any evidence of the distance to the Sun?
No, it's light in the sky, and as Arwen says, it's over there.
3 AUs.
Take that on a quick fire. No, let's not. I won't. I'll edit it out if this becomes a short, concise housekeeping, Arwen. Thank you anyway for your Arwinian
Just saying
units.
3 AU. Yeah, exactly. That's it.
You just want your name mentioned.
Apparent distances, no actual distances, no Euclidean space-based position.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Well,
Of course.
for that, we would need to observe a phenomenon of gravity first. We haven't done that.
Of course, there's scientific evidence. We're still in the middle of trying to figure out what it is.
As far as what it is, no.
I can tell you what it is.
Go on.
It's an inaccurate description of a phenomenon no one ever observed because the Earth is flat.
You want to read out your... is this Arwen presenting this?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm never going to let this one go. No harm meant to Professor Philbill, but I love that he actually said this in my chat. Right? That is why Newton is so useful. Both are just models. Neither of them are real. We don't know what gravity actually is.
Priceless.
Neither of them are real.
No.
Did you say that?
Yeah, with capital letters.
He's got some crackers. Well, Nathan says we just beg the question of a sphere. Well, yes.
Well, yes. That was greatest.
Where are we? Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
It's going to be kind of tough since both are just models, Newtonian and Einstein gravity, right? But the heliocentric system and outer space universe rests on the assumption that they are real, or at least the Newtonian one. So it's kind of problematic. If they don't know what gravity actually is, then how could you ever get to the point of claiming a valid scientific hypothesis for anything relating to things that are purely dependent on that which you don't know what it is?
It doesn't have to be gravity. Any viable hypothesis.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the entire cosmos, assumed to be by the astronomy department, is based on Newtonian gravity, even though it's just a model. They don't know what gravity is.
Yeah, I've just picked on what you're doing. Yeah, so you're taking up the slack where John would normally say, well, any hypothesis that's offered from those fields would automatically require an assumption of an R value to be within the framework of a heliocentric model. So I suppose that leads us on nicely to any evidence of the R value, Earth radius.
Indeed, and it also requires little g. That's what the heliocentric cosmos requires.
Can you go back a second? Can you explain why you've got the word viable in that question? For those who might not understand what we're asking when we ask that question.
Well, an actual cause and effect relationship, viable meaning that you have actually got an observed phenomena that you've observed in nature, and you are proposing a presumed cause of the effect you've observed in nature. Viable meaning that you've got an independent variable, your presumed cause of the effect, and most importantly, when it comes to gravity at least, an actual effect to observe, to presume the cause of, and then formulated in if A then B, that's if presumed cause then dependent variable observed effect, and if A not B, if varying my cause I don't get the effect I'm trying to study. So that's a formulated viable hypothesis. So you just want two things really, because we can do the rest if they didn't even do that bit, which is independent variable and dependent variable. Presumed cause, observed effect. Simple.
Well, the null kills them because they're not going to vary Earth turn.
So if you don't have any of these parts, and you don't have a viable hypothesis, but you're still claiming science, what do they call that again?
Pseudoscience. If you've got a methodology that's claiming to be science, and yet it doesn't have an application of the scientific method, it automatically, by definition, is pseudoscience. Shout out to Bex for the super chat. Thank you very much. Any evidence you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon.
How many containers am I allowed to use to demonstrate this?
None.
Nope, no demonstration then.
But we are unable to escape the container that we are in order to demonstrate that.
That's not my problem. The fact that we have gas pressure in existence, that's a problem for someone trying to prove that there's a sky vacuum with gas not dispersing into it, but not for me. I just breathe the gas pressure and go, yummy gas pressure. That concludes the housekeeping. I'm glad we did it again because, according to my numbers, we have actually got 100 people watching now, which is excellent. So in all seriousness, to all the 100 people who are watching, you're probably only watching because you clicked on a shared link by someone else who'd shared the show. Because chances are you haven't picked it up from a YouTube algorithm or anything that's promotional in that particular method. So, yeah, thank you very much to all of you who shared the show. If you've just joined, thank you very much for joining. Please share the show. And then hopefully we'll get a few more than 100 watching. Also, shout out to Godzilla37 for hitting the super chat. He says, Chocolate, you're smart. Oh, hold on. Let's just let Brian in. Chocolate, you're smart. What's the difference between flat earth math and globe maths? Or should I ask McToon? Thank you very much for the super chat. Godzilla37. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Nathan, hey, everyone.
Hey.
I would say that globe earth math, where does that start at?
Starts with a flat plane.
Oh, well, there you go.
If you guys could just... Oh, sorry, Arwen. I was just going to say, if you guys could just get past the flat plane, I can explain to you how it's a globe after that.
And further to that, Anna can explain how, if you can just get past the flat plane angle measurements that we're going to be using in all instances, If you can all get past that in the audience, flat earthers or globers, right? Forget that flat plane bit. Once we've got that bit, I can show you how it doesn't work on a flat plane. That's what I can do.
Yep, I can utilize the flat plane to demonstrate that it's not a flat plane.
It's amazing. I'm up
Hey,
to,
Nathan.
I think it's 48 times I've told McToon, directly to McToon, in the comments, that he requires a flat plane for his challenge. I've laid it out in terms of the reasons why, with the elevation angle acquisition being only capable from a flat plane, and the elevation angle acquisition not being capable from a sphere Earth. Now, he's appealed to Euclid in a certain way to try and get a tangent, you sneaky old dog you, but I kid you not, 48 times I've told him so far. When it was cats, with gas pressure without a container, I got beyond 100 in the same scenario, with him just lurking around the comments, not coming into a live show that's got an open door.
Do you think it's the logical steps that are from utilizing the sextant, like where you're not just dealing with the ground immediately? You know, you're taking a measurement and then correlating it to the ground. Do you think that logical step is too much for them to understand what they're actually doing?
I don't think half of them know what celestial navigation even is. They just know what the bastardized version they're told is flat earthers claiming this is how you get around and stuff on a flat earth that's obviously not capable because it's all taken from a sphere. Shh, that was taken from a flat earth in the first place. But they're being told by the people around them. They're not going out and doing what 10th Man is. I'm so arrogant. I am only able to say this because 10th Man has literally presented this stuff to me. So, in my smug arrogance, if it wasn't for 10th and a lot of people around me, I'd be as ignorant as they are. But there we go.
Well, 10th he done a presentation every pre-show for almost a year and educated everybody that bothered to watch on this.
Well, most of the time it was directed to me, though, wasn't it? I was the conduit. I appreciate that I'm producing a show, and that's obviously for consumption. But in terms of being that conduit, I feel blessed. You know, I've had that information fed to me. Not only fed to me, sieved out. You know, here's a good bit, here's another good bit. This is how this is relevant. And the context, all offered to me. To me directly. I know it's, like I say, as a conduit. But, you know, it's a very privileged position I find myself in. I can't deny it. In a way, I'm bigging you guys up and saying how grateful I am. Because I'd just be thick as shit if it wasn't for you lot.
He not only did that, he broke it down for us too. Excellent job.
Exactly.
I remember them pre-shows. Outstanding.
Exactly. You can go back through 2021, basically. You know, tail end of the lockdowns for us here in the UK. That year, if you go and listen to any Uncut and After show on my second channel, which is Nathan Oakley channel, links below if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, check out any of those pre-shows, because immediately, and I do mean within 5 minutes of the intro, or the 5 minutes of the start of the show even, 10th is going, I've just got these slides. Can I just show you my pictures that I've taken from this book, etc., etc. And typically he'd do it on, I don't want to say spur of the moment because he's read it and obviously considered it. Sorry to talk on your behalf. I know he's sat right there, 10th. But he's gone through it in a manner that's obviously been processed enough to disseminate it to us with a bit of back and forth, with a few questions here and there, but not necessarily a presentation. So each time it's always kind of prefaced with, I don't necessarily want to do this as a presentation at this stage, but here it is for the dedicated people who watch the Uncut and After show on my second channel. You know, that is a far more focused audience. So subscribe today. But yeah, check out any of those shows from that particular year, and you'll see the progression that we took in terms of the information being disseminated to us by 10th Man. And as I say, to pick him up once more, you know, I feel very privileged to have sat in this seat and had that disseminated to me for the benefit of my audience. So yeah, big up to you, 10th.
It was so good that I remember when Eli came one day, he said, when can we get this on the show?
Yeah, the pre-shows too, like the stuff we talked about, like, because somebody was always playing devil's advocate. They're giving those responses that are nonsensical now. Have you noticed that? Like trying to grab onto the zenith.
Exactly. It's stuff that we'd gone through. Again, it gets, if you wanted to go back to those shows and have a little listen, you get an impression of how we process this information in that way. In other words, you will hear, not necessarily Baldwin, I'm not as overt as that, just us being moderately sceptical, or how would this get approached, how would that get approached. You know, we're not nagging 10th, you know, we're still grateful in those shows, but you know what I'm driving at. We're trying to offer up our scepticism in terms of how it might be defeated while we're getting to grips with it. And 10th, in his tolerant ways, you know, obviously just disseminating the information to us as he gets it. Yeah, great shows, great days, happy days. But yeah, by contrast, we'll get some grunt from the anti-flat earth side that's just listened to somebody in their little sphere tell them how they say it works and how they claim we say it works, when in reality they want to fight against the process of celestial navigation, or claim that flat earth elevation angle measurements off a flat baseline as they are done aren't how they're done, or aren't the ground. It's like, yeah, they are. That's what you're doing. You're navigating the ground. Well, it's not our sphere ground. Go on, Neil.
Oh yeah, a new addition to the silly things that Globers have told me. Curve told me if I wanted to take up Wolfie's challenge, I couldn't use an almanac because that's globe stuff.
Globe shaped. Are almanacs globe shaped?
It's globe stuff. I don't know.
Globe stuff. I mean, if they want to make that claim, they need to actually show us how it's globe stuff. You know, they need to actually back their claim. So from this point forward, just saying, you know, we were taking the piss out of it last week going, no, my almanac. No, my map. No, my flat plane. Mine. Right, that's what they're doing. It's nuts, but that's what they're doing. At that point, we're going to start holding them to task. Okay, you say the almanac's globe. Okay, do you want to back that up? Show us how it's globe.
No. The ephemeris, astronomy, where the stars are, as designed not from Earth, but a star map, sky map, so to speak. That's where the almanac comes from. Has nothing to do with the globe. It has to do with the stars in the sky, as astronomers throughout thousands of years have plotted them, seen them the same time the following year to know when it's going to show up again, the circuit they run. This is where they get the nautical almanac from.
I agree. Can I read something that I got from you?
Yeah.
For me?
Yeah, go ahead, Eli. Don't ask permission, just go.
So it says earthly, Andrew Hill, quotes, in parentheses, quotes, Darwin rules, okay. 12th July, page 127 says, even in The Spectator, we rarely find serious assertions that the sun goes around the earth. One can, of course, believe anything one likes as long as the consequences of that belief are trivial. But when survival depends on belief, then it matters that belief corresponds to manifest reality. We therefore teach navigators that the stars are fixed to the celestial sphere, which is centered on a fixed earth and around which it rotates in accordance with laws clearly deducible from common sense observation. The sun and moon move across the inner surface of this sphere and hence perforce go around the earth. This means that students of navigation must unlearn a lot of the confused dogma they learned in school. So, in other words, if the almanac is a bunch of data that they put into the celestial sphere, that's around a fixed plane.
Yeah, the equatorial plane. Indeedy. I like
Notice,
the confused dogma. They have to forget about that confused dogma that they learned. I love that. Shout out to Paul Connell, who says, shout out to Arwin. Indeedy. Woo! Shout out to Flat Earth Early Bird Show. He says, love all the panel and you, Nathan. Oh, well, thank you very much. You all help me through every night in Perth, Australia. Keep up the awesome work. Love, Paul. Well, thank you very much, Paul. Really appreciate the support, and thank you very much for the super chat and the kind sentiments. Also, I'll double down on that and say shout out to Flat Earth Early Bird, which is ARWIJN. That's Arwin's show, which goes out before this show. So if you're in Australia, it's not so early. It's sort of late evening just before you go to bed show. But it's called The Early Bird, so check it out. Also, another shout out to Bex. He says, woohoo! Indeedy. Thank you very much for the super chat, Bex.
You got the end of that.
Yep. Thank you,
Can you
guys.
finish reading that, Eli?
No, sorry, that was all I had. If
Okay,
there's
I'll
more, I'd love to have it.
Okay, I'll go look for it because the end was good too.
I assume you haven't got that book to hand to read off the rest of the text.
What was that? What was that part that you read, Eli? What did it say? It doesn't really matter what you believe as long as the consequences are trivial. Is that what it said?
Yeah, one can, of course, believe anything one likes as long as the consequences of that belief are trivial. But when survival depends on belief, then it matters that belief corresponds to manifest reality.
Indeed. Or to translate that for you and I, laymen on the ground, people at sea, people navigating, should you get lost, then it matters greatly that you understand that you are measuring a flat Earth to find where the hell you are. Now, if you don't understand that, or you feel that somehow you need to reference a dingleberry Earth dangling beneath a flat plane, which you don't really want to accept, then you will start measuring angles from curved baselines. And as a result, you will remain lost, because you won't be able to triangulate your position, as has been done for a very long time. Now, a good understanding of the flat plane that you're about to navigate and triangulate and find your position with, that would be your fix, will mean that you don't die. So it's best not to let your fundy sphere belief get in the way of not dying if you're out at sea lost.
Nathan, I put up a picture in Masterby of not my entire collection of books, but a good part of it while I look for the end of that article to answer a previous statement. Everything that I was dripping out on the shows came from these books. All these books are globe-oriented navigation books. There is no flat Earth navigation book. This is how much they've cornered the market. But within these globe navigation books is the methodology of celestial navigation. And upon investigation, I was shocked to see that they were using a flat Earth to navigate. And I shared it with my wife and my kids. I said, this is ridiculous. This is all flat Earth methodology, but in the globe Earth navigation book saying you're doing it on the globe, I go, it can't be this easy. It can't be as easy as an angle. It can't be as easy as a triangle. It can't be as easy as a 90 degree, is it? I mean, my goodness, this is huge. So then I decided to say, all right, well, just keep investigating, and called the navigator, emailed another one, just to double check. I mean, really, is this a trap for me to fall in somehow? Because there's something more to it than I'm seeing. I'm just a farmer, right? So the whole point was, no, everything got validated on my end. Then I decided to drip on your show little by little, because I role-played somewhat what might happen, not all. The rest has been happening and in real time for me. And I've been responding to the real-time disagreements from the ballers. But the homework I've done and the resources I could go to, I purchased so that it couldn't be taken away from me. I have it. It's there for everyone's use one day. And I bought a sextant, a nice German one, Freiberg. I bought a bubble sextant, an A10. And I even just recently added to the collection with a box sextant, which is small enough to fit in your pocket and used near the shorelines. And so the whole point of the whole thing is that you need a 90, and you need a baseline, and you need a right angle triangle. And I have cited all of their people saying that. It's over right there. I'll go look for the rest of the article while you look at some of those books.
So you're saying that you had a Snickers bar, but it's wrapped up in a Mars wrapper, and when you open it up, it's actually a Snickers bar?
So I think Neil's saying that the flat map that you'd use to navigate is the wrapper, and the globe Earth is the Snickers bar that you think's inside that turns out to be a Mars bar. Actually,
correct.
A flat Earth. That was terrible.
Yes, you got it right.
Yeah, with a lot of thought.
Actually, it wasn't too bad. He was within the Milky Way.
All right, let's have another topic.
That's a good one.
Well, before you change the topic, that's very good because I'm trying to figure out
Wait a
how
second.
to
Pop
break
up the
this to
candy
my
bar?
friends ever since since 10th said what he said about the books, and then you saying it's like a candy bar wrapper, but you open it and it's something else. That's perfect. Like I would love to say that to someone. Just like you opening up a candy bar thinking, yeah, I got a Snickers, and it's like a payday or some nasty shit.
Thank you, Eli.
Like you open up a globe, a navigation book for the globe, and it actually has flat Earth in it. What? I didn't pay for this.
With another example of them just telling you, yeah, it doesn't really matter what you believe, right? Because flat and globe, kind of the same thing. It's only about what you believe. But if you weren't using a flat plane to do all this nonsense and come up with this math, well, then you wouldn't say that you were. They wouldn't be equal. It would be two different things. That's the one thing that's always been batshit crazy to me. The globers that will say, well, it doesn't matter if it's a globe or a flat. Like what? What do you mean?
Chocolate, it does matter because there's no ice wall on a globe. There's an ice wall in the flat Earth.
Is there? What says who?
What I'm saying
Hold
is
on.
the parameters.
Ruining Chocolate's point by triggering me.
Here we go.
You're trying to rumpus Chocolate's point by triggering me, Neil. What's going on?
I'm not. I'm just saying. It's on the globe. Just Antarctica's like a continent.
Sorry, Chocolate. Go ahead.
It's a little noisy over here now.
What bloody ice wall?
anyway.
What are you
I knew he
talking
was
about?
done.
I had to listen to that crap on QE show yesterday.
Nathan, prove there's not an ice wall, okay?
Yeah.
The ice wall.
Okay, I've got hey, Brian, I've got that quote up in Master B now. You got to go to the second one first, I think, because I reversed the order.
One that's got earthly at the top.
Let me move to it. Yeah, so this is the one he was reading. Let's just go in context. Andrew Hill responding to the article in the previous month where the guy's talking about Darwin and everything else, and ends the article by saying, just like we all now know without question, basically, or debate, that the Earth is going around the sun. That's how he ended that article that had mostly nothing to do with that, but that's how he did it. So this guy responds, hey, Andrew Hill, Darwin Rules, okay, July 12, page 127, says, even in The Spectator, we rarely find serious assertions that the sun goes around the Earth. So you see how he just focuses on the one last statement of that previous article. And he says, one can, of course, believe anything one likes as long as the consequences of that belief are trivial. But when survival depends on belief, then it matters that belief corresponds to manifest reality. Excellent usage of words. We therefore teach navigators that the stars are fixed to the celestial sphere, which is centered on a fixed Earth and around which it rotates in accordance with laws clearly deducible from common sense observation. The sun and the moon move across the inner surface of this sphere and hence perforce go around the Earth. Let me read that again. The sun and moon move across the inner surface of this sphere and hence perforce go around the Earth. This means that students, not baltards, students of navigation must unlearn a lot of confused dogma they learned in school. Most of them, next slide please, most of them find this remarkably easy because dogma is as may be, but the real world is as we perceive it to be. If Andrew Hill would look in the Journal of Navigation, something that 10th Man bought, by the way, he will find that the Earth-centered universe is alive and well, whatever his readings of The Spectator may suggest. Darcy Reddyhoff, Royal Air Force College, and must be a teacher because he referred to the people he talks to as students. I rest my case.
Yeah, celestial navigation and the elevation angle measurement taken from the baseline we call the surface proves Earth is flat. Thank you, 10th.
I don't know
My
if he...
pleasure.
Sorry. Don't know if he realised, if any you read any of Adam's comments, or any Adam has been shown there last night. But according to Ruth, there's a new globe Earth proof. And it's my maths honesty. I just casually was just honest, like I tried to be the other day on the show, and stated that I can't do square roots. Or I don't know how to do square roots. I do now, but I didn't a few days ago. And Wolfie showed me how to do square roots, right? So there's someone who showed me. Actually, Wolfie actually helped me out and said, this is how you do it. But according to Ruhif, it's a new globe Earth proof. Because if I can't do square roots, that means that everything I ever said and anything that anyone has to do with me has to be wrong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it took the word right out of my mouth.
This is where we're at.
Pretty desperate proof, isn't it?
Yeah, it would have been better if they came on and corrected us on our terrible mathematics on the physical geometric sphere-edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve. Oh, you idiots! Didn't you know how to calculate where the geometric physical sphere-edge horizon we used to claim block boats and buildings is? Let me correct you. Yeah, no one walked into that, though. No, I don't. Dude, tell a lie. Where's Wally walked into it in the comments?
Well, that is one instance where knowing how to do square roots would be handy, but we don't need that anymore. So technically, I don't have the same need to know a square root, how to do square roots, as I would have had before 2020.
What you mean, given that there is no physical geometric sphere-edge horizon anymore, why would you need the square root of the observer's height and feet to calculate where it is? Is that what you're talking about, Brian?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Brian, rest assured, I'm not that great at math either. I don't know calculus. I don't know algebra. I don't know most of it. I just never understood it, never went that route. My mind doesn't work that way like Adam's does. But guess what? I bought their books, and it says you need a flat earth. I know how to read.
Perfect. On that note, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on a Premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!